Hello, I'm back. Um, I'm back, and I honestly wish that I had some very good news that was nice and cheerful and upbeat for y'all, but I don't. That first round of chemo really threw me for a loop. Not only I already explained to you all the day after chemo the reaction that I believe I had to Neulasta. That was crap. Then, I had just the regular side effects that everybody always tells you about or that you are always hear about with chemo, which is just the bowel issues. Um, what other things? Oh God, I broke out in acne so bad. I hadn't had a breakout of pimples and bumps on my face probably since, honestly, maybe like my mid 20s, early to mid 20s. My forehead was completely covered in bumps. I swear to you, like every few hours, it was like at least a new batch of 4 or 5 bumps somewhere on my damn face. It was horrible. I went on a popping spree. I have I have a lot of dark marks to show for that. Good thing I'm no stranger to foundation already, so I wasn't really stressing that. I knew that could be hidden. What couldn't be hidden was the bumpiness that went on. It was horrible. That subsided. So that was like the week after chemo is when that began. It actually first began around my nose, around this area, and like in the creases. And I was just kind of like, oh God, this is horrible. Then, no, it gets more horrible, girl. Yes, the forehead was just dotted up. It was, golly, I don't know why. Why do you have to like damn near go to death for this treatment to cure you? It's really making me reconsider some things, especially after the fact that just a few days ago on Saturday that just passed, so we're talking 2 weeks and 2 days post chemo, post first round of chemo, my entire body broke out in a rash. I was as red as a cherry that you would put on the top of your heaps of ice cream. I was that red. And you see, I'm a brown girl. I mean, I do blush. I know a lot of people that maybe aren't, I don't know what to say. A lot of people that maybe don't hang out with brown people wouldn't believe, that we too get red in certain areas of our face. Our chest gets red, things like that. We blush. Yes, we do. And this was more than a blush. This was like what I would imagine sunburn would look like. I was bright red all over. It began on like the affected breast on the side. And the shirt that I had on that morning, Saturday morning, I got up, I did like some household stuff. So the shirt I had on, I could really smell the detergent in it. But it wasn't more excessive than any other time prior. Like this is just how I usually wash my clothes. I like my clothes to smell good when I put them in the drawer, when I put them in the closet. I like for these areas to smell good. I like for my stuff to smell fresh when I go to put it on. So, I wash with a nice detergent. I throw in some good old fabric softener. And that's just how my clothing smells. So, but when I started to itch on that day, I was kind of like, maybe I put in too much fabric softener. Because this shirt, it smells hella good. But maybe the chemo drugs, maybe my body chemistry is off. And now, this shirt's got me itching. That's what I thought. So I didn't pay no attention though, because like I scratched a few times like earlier in the day, and I was just kind of like, it wasn't really in my mind. So by like maybe midday, all of a sudden over here starts itching, opposite side of the body on the neck. So now we got this bilateral thing going on. I'm kind of like, the shirt didn't have a collar, so I'm thinking like, I don't know what's up. At this point, I'm just kind of like, what the hell is going on? I really just didn't know really what to think. When, now I have two different sides of my body itching, a side that the shirt isn't even touching, itching. So I went through the entire day with that shirt on, and because I'm just hard-headed, I guess, stubborn, lazy, probably a little bit too. I just didn't feel like changing the damn shirt. I was just around the house all day. And by the nighttime, when I went to, shower, get in the bed, watch my television, my body was on fire. I had the whole chest area scratching. My stomach, I'm scratching. My back, I'm scratching it up. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on? And I was beating myself up about it because I'm like, you should have been took this damn shirt off. Like, why did I wear this shirt all day knowing that in my mind, it smelled heavily of detergent, and I was thinking, oh, your body chemistry with the chemo in it has maybe changed, and now you have a reaction to what you wash your clothes with. So I'm just like, why do you keep this shirt on all day? I'm pissed off. My body's on fire, and I was just looking for some relief. So I don't even know what episode I had this lingering from, but I had 2 packs of like the oatmeal bath for cases like this when you want to soothe some itching. So I sprinkled that to both of the packs in the tub, and I laid in the tub, and I have the water on hot, and what I realized is that very hot water makes the shit itch worse. So the first few minutes in the tub, I'm still like scratching. Well, look, I was doing leg action, but that wasn't yet. So I'm still scratching and everything. Woo, 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 itchy. But I get out the tub, and I'm breathing a sigh of relief. In my mind, a lot of stuff is mind over matter. So whether I actually was no longer itchy, in my mind, I'm sorry, I'm fixing my dress. In my mind, I was no longer itchy. I slept pretty well. It was kind of like an on and off. I was scratching in the middle of the night. I wake up. Both arms, both legs, every inch of my body at that point, except for my face and the backs of my hands and the tops of my feet were covered in this rash. And once again, bright red. And in my mind, I'm just like, it's that mother freaking chemo. I am pissed off. And I'm just like, this is one more reason why I should not have subjected myself to chemo. Oh my God. So this is Sunday. So I call up my doctor's on-call service, his little answering service or whatever. And once again, he gets right back with me. Like, it was within 30 minutes, he's on my phone. And I'm telling him, like, look, I broke out in this full body rash. This is something that's systemic. And I had to get into the systemic part because he was just kind of like, wow, like, it's almost time for your next chemo. So that's on Sunday that I spoke with him, and chemo was scheduled for tomorrow, which is Friday. And he's just like, that's really delayed. And I'm like, I agree with you. It is a really delayed action, but nevertheless, it's a reaction to the chemo. And he's like, have you introduced any new drugs? No, I haven't introduced any new drugs, man. It is this, whatever in that little whole chemo cocktail that I was administered, 2 weeks, 2 days later, it's a systemic medication. My body is just reacting to something internally. And this is crazy. And I'm just like upset. I'm upset. But I don't know. I lost count of how many times during this process I've been upset. So, he tells me, get some Benadryl, get some calamine lotion, come see me tomorrow. So, but when I called him on Monday morning, when I called his office, I guess it wasn't quite open yet. So the hospital that they're associated with, their receptionist or someone at the hospital picked up. But when she tried to transfer me, she was trying to send me like to an individual's line. I think she said a name that I wasn't familiar with, and that number just rang, and at this point Monday morning, I've been up all weekend, scratching, not sleeping, body just exhausted from everything. So when I tried to call and I didn't get no answer, I just wound up going back to sleep. And then before I knew it, it was time for me to get back up and go to work. So, and I work from home, guys. So don't worry. I didn't like go to the office all red, looking like a walking cherry, with bumps. I didn't go to an office or anything looking like that. So, that is the one plus that I have going through this, is that I work from home. But, you know, before I knew it, it was time for me to log in. So, oh gosh, I did end up calling the office later on Monday, and I just explained to them, like, look, he wants to see me today, but I ended up going to sleep. Now I'm at work. Give me something for tomorrow. So I went to go see him Tuesday morning. He's astonished. He's just looking at me like, wow, you're so red. Like, I don't know if this is from chemo. This is almost 3 weeks later. This is unusual. I'm astonished. He didn't say that part. I'm saying that, the I'm astonished part. But I'm just like, yeah, you know, me and you, we both surprised right now. And I need something. I need something to happen. So he sends me to a dermatologist. I go to the dermatologist later that afternoon. The dermatologist, and I hate that I do this, but I be forgetting stuff. I forget stuff. And this isn't the chemo or my condition. This is even beforehand. I have this really bad thing, like, I just take in what I want and I don't take in what I don't. But the one thing that stuck with me, he gave me 2 different conditions that he said it may be. So he said, in his mind, dress came to mind. But then he ruled that out because after I left the oncologist that morning, I went straight to the hospital and did blood work, because he did say he wanted to make sure my kidneys and my liver was functioning okay, like those numbers weren't out of whack. So when the dermatologist, he was able, because he's also with that same hospital group, he was able to pull up the blood work results from that morning, and he ruled out dress because he said there's something called EOS. He said with dress, that's usually way elevated, and mine was within the normal range, more so closer to the lower side of the normal range than even the higher side. But he said with dress, it would be in a range that's well above what the high maximum would be for the normal range. So he said, you know, that kind of rules it out. And also looking at the things that's attributed to kidney and lung function, those numbers were within range. They were okay. Everything else was A-okay. All blood work, everything was in range and was okay. So he was like, he's eliminating dress because of that. Because everything, all the numbers are good. So then he said the other thing, and I think why this didn't stick into my mind that well, is because with dress, he showed me pictures. And actually, I kind of agreed that it looked a little like some of the dress pictures. But you know, so, but the other thing, I can't remember what he said, but I think he kind of eliminated that one too. We didn't even go that much into depth with that other thing. Maybe that's why I don't even remember, like, what the name of it was. So basically, I left without a diagnosis. Well, I guess it was a diagnosis. I just don't have a name, I guess. A condition. I don't have a name for the condition, but he did agree with me. it was like a systemic reaction from a medication. But here's the other thing, that he couldn't pinpoint it to a medication. He said, first of all, well, Perjeta, he wasn't familiar with this and he's a dermatologist, not an oncologist or anything like that. So when I said Perjeta, he was just kind of like, what's that? And I was telling him, and he had his assistant like look up like the actual name. I think it's Permazetatab or something. And he was like, nah. He kind of was checking out a list of chemo drugs that I guess is known to cause. I feel like I got hair in my mouth. That's known. Okay, phantom hair. That's known to cause this sort of rash. None of my chemo drugs were on there. He said with the Perjeta, because it's maybe a newer drug, maybe it's just not in the edition that he had handy. But so at this point, we don't know what caused it, but we are in agreement that it was it was from a medication. It was from a medication. I'm frazzled right now. So he prescribed me this really big jar of of a lotion. I don't know if it's a steroid or what, but that thing works. The next day, overnight, the redness calmed down a lot, and all the bumps had actually, what it seems to have done is like come to a head, because they were the next morning, like they were all like white, like pimples, like teeny little pimples. So that was cool. But oh yeah, and he told me to take a Zyrtec a day. So I did that. So what was that? That was Tuesday. Wednesday there was improvement. Today is Thursday, still more improvement. But what had happened is that by Wednesday night, this rash, although I had some improvement going with the lotion and the Zyrtec, this rash had continued to progress, covering more skin area, because then the backs of my hands and also the tops of my feet had the rash as well. I don't know, guys. I've gone through, like, you know, when they said, oh, you'll have diarrhea, oh, you'll lose your hair, you know, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, this is stuff that I expect, fine. But had somebody said, you'll break out, look like I don't know what I looked like. I looked like I don't know, a red hot sausage. I was looking terrible and bumpy. And when I say everywhere, it's everywhere. Every bit of skin, everywhere, itched. It was bad. It was bad. If someone had told me that I could expect to feel like I'm on fire and look like I'm tinted red, I think that I would have probably said, maybe not. What else can we do first? So, of course, chemo has been postponed. So it's no longer Friday, but I go back to see the oncologist on Tuesday. And he actually called me yesterday evening, and I had to let him know I would like to consider to just go ahead with the surgery and let's nix chemo, because I'm done. I am tired. I damn near died the day following chemo. And I mean, I went through a lot. Some other symptoms that I hadn't told y'all about. These are symptoms that happened like the week after chemo. My tongue had turned a very bright red. I had excessive saliva. I had like a lump in my throat where I could actually feel the lump on the outside. There was an actual lump. My throat was sore. My throat actually felt like it was raw. Like it was raw inside. Anything I ate, whether it was a little spicy or whether it was a neutral, unless it was something like yogurt or something that I drank, if it was anything that was solid that I had to chew and swallow, it was fire. It was fire going down. And that happened, that went on for days. That was probably like for the whole week, maybe like a week and a half. A lot of these symptoms I didn't even realize like when they ended, because I guess my mind was just so relieved that hey, there's no more pain. It was crazy. It's crazy. I do know that exactly 1 week after chemo, so that next Thursday after chemo, I woke up and I was just like, dang, I feel normal today. Like, I don't, and once again, I don't even realize exactly at what point I felt normal, but I just know that I made that mental note to myself in the day. Like, this is the first day, a whole week later, that I feel good. I feel regular. Because it's like you're in a fog, for real. And I don't even mean like some people say like you get chemo brain, like you're not as sharp as you like usually are after getting chemo, and that could be kind of true too. But that's not the fog that I'm talking about. I'm talking about just not feeling like yourself. And maybe unless you ever felt that way or ever had like drug induced feelings like that, you would probably never understand what I'm saying. But anybody that's went through that would know exactly what I'm talking about. I was just like in a fog. I wasn't me. And then all of a sudden I was. And then that lasted maybe for like a couple days. Then a few days, I wasn't, like a few days later, I wasn't me again. Then it would be like one day, I'm me again. And then like it was just kind of like oscillating, good, not good, good, not good. And I understand, it's a process. It's things that you have to go through to get to your ultimate destination. And in this case, my ultimate destination is to be cancer free and to go on and live a nice, happy life with no recurrences and all this and that. But I don't know. I don't know if the means justifies, the end for me. So I did let him know that I'm considering that I don't want to do chemo anymore. When I went to see him on Tuesday, he did feel for the lump, and he was just like, the lump's no longer palpable like it was, of course, and that's great. So we agree that something is working in that whole cocktail, but at the same time, it's killing me. It's really killing me. Like, my voice isn't the same or anything. I don't know. Oh, yeah, and I did lose my hair. Under this wig, I'm embarrassingly bald. And it's only really embarrassing because my scalp is like 4 shades lighter than the rest of my body. So I have a light-skinned lady's scalp. And then I have my brown body. So I won't be showing that until maybe some hair grows on it. And the story about the hair loss. So I had got my hair cut. I'm going to actually put up a picture for y'all to see. I had got my hair cut. It was a cute little thing. I knew that it was going to be temporary because I knew that they said usually after the second round that your hair will start falling out. So I just got it, teeny little faded on the sides, around the ears and everything. And just left the top a little bit. So what happened was I got the haircut. That was actually on Easter weekend. Got it cut. Came home that night. I washed it and I put some mousse in it because I have a nice little head, a nice little curl pattern. And so I washed it, put mousse in it, and just let it do its own thing. And so from there, I think maybe like a day, 2 days later, maybe I did the whole wash and mousse again. And then from there, I just got kind of lazy because I think I fell into like a funk again. Like when I wasn't really just feeling myself and I hadn't really left the house besides walking the dog. So I just let my hair go. I had something to do on this particular day. I had to go out. I had an appointment, I think. So I was like, all right, well, go ahead and comb your hair out. Comb it out because, you know, it was dry at this point. Comb it out. Go ahead, wash it. You know, get in the shower, wash it, and mousse it up again. So I comb, and the hair was just coming out. It was coming out as if it was just seated there. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I mean. It was coming out as if it were never attached. As if this was just like cotton balls or something that just was placed in my hair at one point. Cause I didn't feel no pain. It was just like I was combing, and it wasn't like no yanking or nothing. It was just like comb full of hair, comb full of hair. Oh, look at that, another comb full of hair. It was so much hair. I had joked with my mom and sister. I sent them a picture of all the hair on the sink, and I was just like, man, I could make the dog a afro wig. It was a lot of free, and I mean, it wouldn't have been like a teeny weeny afro wig for the dog. It would have been nice and full and afro-y for my little Ben Ben. And wow. So after that, my hair was very wispy, and like when I looked at it on the mirror, like it didn't look see-through, but I could just feel my hair was lighter. And then when I like went like this, it was a bald spot. Like, it was totally a bald spot. So it's time to let the hair go. So I took scissors for the time being, and I cut it down. We had some it was some hair clippers and stuff up in the attic, like some old stuff. So when my mom came over later that night, she helped me just cut it with the clippers. So now I'm bald. I'm bald and pale headed, and it looks crazy. So I don't know when my hair will start to grow back, but when I have enough to have like a little buzz cut look, then you know, I'll go ahead and maybe let my hair get some sunshine, let my scalp get some sunshine. So that's really what's been going on, y'all. A whole lot of stuff that I don't think anyone would want going on has been going on. So as far as telling my doctor I wanted to stop chemo, he told me to speak with the breast surgeon. I guess to let her know what I want. But in my mind, I'm thinking that alright, this is what I'm thinking in my mind. I want to do one more chemo. I want to give it one more shot. And if I have any super adverse reactions, like how I did the night after when I was laying on my bathroom floor immobile and like about to burst the blood vessel in my head to breathe, or if I break out in another full body rash and with my skin just on fire, then I'm just gonna be done with chemo. And it's a little bit sucky. I mean, to me it's a little bit sucky because I understand that doctors, like, they've been trained, and I think they kind of only know one way. They only know what they've been trained in. So I understand, like, if they push that, like, hold up, no, this is the way because this is what I know and this is what I've seen that works. But at the same token, they should also be able to take it that this is what I know and this is what I've seen, and it doesn't work in a lot of cases. I do see people come back in 2 years. I do see people come back in 1 year. I do see people come back 10 years later. You know what I'm saying? Even after they go through all this stuff. So as much as they see the success stories of this worked and this woman lived out the rest of her life and it never came back, they also see the stories where this another woman had the very same thing, and she also went through all of this, and it did come back, and it came back fast, or it came back more aggressive. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's honestly, it's a crapshoot. It's That's just what it is. That's honestly just what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's just how I feel. That's how I feel, and I really feel like what's gonna be is gonna be. I feel like whether I go through the chemo or whether I don't, that after I have this area of the breast removed, hopefully as small of an area as it can be, I just feel like at that point, honestly, it's up to me to take responsibility. It's up to me to change things like my diet, change things like, as much as I love a drink, especially some red wine, because it mellows me out, Merlot, my favorite, I gotta let it go. It's like, do these things mean more than your life? No. Cake and ice cream, does that mean more to me than living without a cancer invasion? No. I do love cake and ice cream. I tell you what, I love some cake and ice cream. But it's those things I can do without. I feel as though maybe not an entire lifetime. Maybe when I feel as though, I'm good enough on life, on years, maybe I will get back to my cake and ice cream. Who knows? But I do need to diet. I do need to exercise. These are things that I'm willing to do to stay away from things that are like damn near killing me, like chemo seems to be doing right now. So, what I was going to say is, it kind of sucks, like, when all the doctors are telling you, like, and I don't even think that they mean it as a scare tactic. I think that it's legit really just with all they know, and what they maybe feel as though, or has been told as though, this is the way, this is what's going to save lives. So, when you tell them, like, I want to stop, they kind of like afraid, like, oh, like, no, don't stop chemo, because, if you do, it's like certain doom. Or, I guess, like, they don't want to be a part of that team that didn't push for you to keep with chemo. So I'm going to give it one more chance. I hope that when it's all over, I hope that my voice gets back right. Like, even right now, like, my throat's kind of, like, fatigued. I need to drink some water or something. Do some runs. Open that up. I don't know. Y'all, this is a journey that I can admit was much more difficult than I gave it credit for.